So should you rent out your site for a fixed monthly rate, or should you get paid based on performance of the website with either selling the leads directly to a business or routing the calls to an affiliate network? Hey everyone, Matt Wacek here. Welcome back to the channel. And I want to weigh out the pros and cons of doing rank and rent versus getting paid per lead or getting paid per call. Whether or not that's to an affiliate network or selling the leads directly to a business, we'll weigh out some of those pros and cons as well. But that doesn't matter. We're mainly looking at the different revenue models of basically a fixed monthly rate for renting out the site, similar to how you would with a house or a commercial building or whatever, versus getting paid for each one of the leads that your website generates. But either way, let's hop into my computer and compare the differences and the pros and cons to rank and rent versus lead gen, pay-per-call, pay-per-lead, local affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it. But either way, let's get into it. All right, so to start things off, let's take a look at rank and rent and the pros to doing that. So basically, rank and rent is a technique in which you do the same thing. You build a website, you rank it. The monetization strategy changes though compared to local affiliate. With rank and rent, you are basically going to go either use a software that puts a lightbox of a customer's website who's paying you to rent out that site over the top of yours, which yours has achieved the rankings, and there are softwares out there that do that. Or you could just change the logos and change some of the phone numbers and certain calls to action and that sort of stuff in the text of your website and have it routed to that business. And you obviously would want to have a call tracking number for doing that as well, so you can track all the leads coming through. But the biggest pro to that is that you have consistent recurring revenue coming in as long as the client pays. I mean, there are clients that are not going to pay their bills to their vendors. However, very rarely is a business going to essentially bite the hand that feeds them. As long as your site's delivering leads, they're going to have no problem paying you for the monthly rental of that site. So it's all about delivering value and delivering ROI, and you want to be able to calculate that to the person when you're trying to sell them with getting on board with renting your site. And the next pro, and this really applies to all local SEO, is that once you have your site ranking and it's not anything too crazy competitive, maintaining that ranking is not going to take a whole lot of effort or resources other than what you've already done to get the site to rank. So you have your links that you've built and that sort of stuff, and obviously PBNs will have the month-to-month costs, but it's not anything crazy, especially compared to the earnings that the websites can bring you. And it is a pretty hands-off process as soon as you acquire the ranking and then of course acquire that client, with the exception of sending an invoice once a month, or if you're using PayPal or whatever you're using for automatic monthly payments, you have to set that up as well. Now let's get into the negatives to doing rank and rent, because there are a lot of them and a lot of things that people don't seem to realize when they get into it. So first off, you're limited to the amount of revenue that that site can generate. If you're renting it out for $100, 500, whatever the amount is per month, that's the most amount of money that it can generate. So then you're kind of stuck there in terms of how far that could scale, unless you were maybe to build out more pages or whatever, but then you have to renegotiate with the client. So the next thing though is probably one of the worst aspects of this, is that you have to do outreach in order to generate revenue. So you have to go do cold calling, cold emailing, or go to networking events or some just miserable thing like that. Or if you are skilled in running ads, you could do that as a method to acquire clients. Cold outreach frankly sucks. There are some softwares out there. I know Alex Becker years back had Source CCS, where it would basically show a page over top the website that says, hey, rent this website for X amount per month, and they could actually sign up right then and there from the website, start up the PayPal automatic subscription payment, and you basically, and then you have that pretty much running on autopilot. So it's actually a really cool tool. I don't know if it's still working or not. Alex Becker doesn't do anything with SourceWave, and it hasn't for a few years. So either way though, there are softwares out there that can do that, which makes that a little bit easier. But there's another negative to doing the rank and rent model, is that if there's any impact to your site that's going to diminish the amount of leads that are coming through, so maybe the conversion rate all of a sudden got worse or whatever, or you lost the ranking or something like that, anything that's going to negatively impact the amount of leads that are come through to the client, your client's not going to be happy. So they could cancel the service, and then boom, you lost out on that revenue that was coming in over the next several months. And there are some crazy people out there that could write a bad review, and you do not want to deal with that. So those are three huge reasons. And there's one more that is going to be something that you have to know going into this, is that if you build a seasonal site, so say any type of service in an area where for a few months of the year it is really popular of a service, so like lawn care in any northern state is going to be like this. You could do Christmas light installation or any of these types of services that only go on for certain parts of the year, and other parts of the year there's nothing going on with those websites. Your clients for rank and rent are probably going to not want to rent out the site for those months. And you also need to make sure that you charge enough to have enough revenue over the course of the entire year, not just those 4 or 5 months or 2 months or whatever the time period is. All right, so now let's take a look at the pros to doing pay-per-call, pay-per-lead when you're routing the calls specifically to an affiliate network. So again, with rankings, it's pretty simple to maintain if it's for a low competition, a local keyword. There really is not a whole lot that needs to be done after the fact of the ranking being achieved. And here's the other big thing. Here's probably actually one of my favorite things about it is that there's no cold outreach, no cold calling, no cold emailing. You don't have to go run ads to try to find clients or anything like that, because it is in fact set it and forget it. Once you've been approved by a network and they provide you the phone number, and if contact form submissions are monetized, the calls that come in are going to be answered by that network with whatever their call system is. And then they're going to route the call to the business, track the call, and then you earn the revenue from the call. And it's as simple as that. If the contact form submissions can be monetized specifically with Lead Smart, because that's who I work with, the contact form submission setup is currently manual. So what you do is you build a contact form with either Contact Form 7, WP Forms, Cognito Forms, whichever one that you want to use, whichever plugin works best for you. Put that on your site, embed it into there, and then as the notifications come in, you manually input the information of the name, zip, phone number, and brief description of their project right into the dashboard. And I know some of you might be saying, well, isn't the whole point of an affiliate network to have this be completely hands off? And yes, that is the goal. LeadSmart is working on automating that, but it's also something that a VA can do very, very simply each day, especially as you start to scale up, because it's basically just copying and pasting basic data and selecting a couple of things within an online dashboard. So it's really, really simple, and it really wouldn't cost a whole lot to hire a VA to do that. And the next thing is that to scale up with working with a network, it's extremely simple. You just build more sites or build more pages on those existing sites to achieve more rankings, and you just carry over whatever that data is, especially if you're using Elementor. The phone number, if it's in the header or if it's in the footer or wherever you have it, it's going to be on all the pages that you build of that site. So you don't really have to do a whole lot extra in terms of achieving revenue with these new rankings. Whereas if you're doing it for rank and rent, you'd be having to call up the client, make sure that they offer that service, or if it's in a different area with a new site, you'll have to find a client in that area, and that's more outreach that you have to do, and that's frankly a pain. So the next thing is that, like I said, the sky is the limit. If you can build as many sites as you want in as many cities for as many services as your budget allows you to do, and you're good to go as long as the network provides coverage in all of those areas. Now, here's my absolute favorite part with doing pay-per-call, pay-per-lead, local affiliate marketing, whatever you want to call it, basically routing calls and leads to an affiliate network. And that is the fact that you only are answering to yourself. If the site does really well, it's on you. You got to generate a bunch of revenue. If the site didn't do well, that's on you. There's not going to be a client calling you up or sending you an email that they're angry that your site's not generating you any leads. If the site doesn't make any money, you just don't make any money. So there's no third party that you have to worry about making sure that they are happy. Obviously, the networks want you to generate calls, because then the more that you generate for them, the more money they're going to make. But in most cases, you're not going to likely be in like a performance-based contract type of situation with having to generate X amount of leads per month or per week, per year, whatever. Otherwise, they're going to just close you down or drop your rates or whatever. Now, I know I just talked up doing pay-per-call, pay-per-lead versus rank and rent in the pros, but now there are some negatives to this depending on how you look at this business model as a whole, and that being performance-based. So this is really, though, how things are in life in general. You get out what you put in. If you go to the gym or you get a gym membership and you want to get fit and you don't go, you're not going to get fit. It's as simple as that. With this, if your site sucks or you can't get the rankings and then your site still sucks, you're not going to generate any revenue, and it's as simple as that. So performance-based, I don't really see a negative, but it is something that you should know about. And frankly, it's something that should be obvious, that if you generate leads and generate calls, you're going to make money. But for some, they might not know that. So now, the other thing is that if the site is seasonal, so it's Christmas light installation, or if it's something that's not always going throughout the entire year, like an electrician or a plumber or whatever, those types of niches where it's going to be consistent through the whole year. So the way that you can hedge your bets against that is to just diversify the portfolio of the sites that you have. So have sites in seasonal niches, have sites in the evergreen niches, as I like to call them, because they're basically consistent throughout the entire year. Plumbing, electrician, house cleaning, all those things that are basically on the inside of the house that are always going to be done no matter what the weather is outside. And also, if you're someone who is comfortable with having sites that will be just red hot for 1, 2, 3, 4 months or whatever the case may be, and you're okay with it being dead, and you just have a big portfolio of those sites, and you know that that's how it's going to work, it's going to be a roller coaster basically through the seasons, then by all means go crazy with those types of sites. But the thing that you really need to take away is that you know that that is going to be the case with some sites, because that's just the seasonality of a lot of services. Same thing happens in e-commerce space. When people sell things related to a holiday, that site's only going to make money when that season is around. So if it's a Christmas related product, or if it's a Halloween related product, or whatever it may be, that's the only time of year that that's going to make any money. Now, there are some pros and cons to selling the leads directly to a business versus working with an affiliate network. So the pros to that is going to be more revenue per lead. You're essentially cutting out the middleman, which would be that network. And your sites are going to be able to generate you 3 or 4 or 5 times what the previous rate was if they're being routed to a network. But the biggest con is that you have to find clients and make sure that those clients are going to pay you when you send them their bill for X amount of leads generated that month. So most businesses are not, like I mentioned earlier, are not going to bite the hand that feeds them, essentially, because they want to have more clients coming into their business, so they're definitely inclined to continue paying their bill, but the outreach of that absolutely sucks. So one last thing to mention is that it seems like a lot of people want to do rank and rent because it almost seems like it's a shortcut to easy money, and they don't think that they're subject to delivering value to that client that's paying them for the website rental, and they go into it with the mindset of thinking, okay, how much money can I make, rather than how much value can I deliver to this business who's paying me for the service of generating them more clients. So you have to go into it with either one of these different business models with the mindset of, okay, how can I provide value for whatever business it is that your website's about, or websites, and how can I get paid for essentially bridging that gap between customer or consumer and business. And that's what you're doing, and that's what you get paid for with doing local affiliate marketing, or even rank and rent as well. So if you're someone who's going to actually go out there and take action, whether it's to build a rank and rent site or to do local affiliate marketing and route the leads to a network, leave a like down below. And also, if you're not already part of our ever-growing family, be sure to go down below, smash and subscribe so you know when all the newest content comes live here on my channel. And also, if you want to get more guided step-by-step training on how to build a website, rank that website, and monetize that website with a local affiliate offer, there are links right down below to our courses where you can get access to that training and a whole lot more. So I'll see you guys in the next video.